Welcome back to my channel. If you're a new viewer here, consider subscribing to this channel if you found value in the content shared here. So today we'll be looking at predicting shelf life using Microsoft Excel. So I have another video on this platform, on this channel, that explains shelf life and how to predict it using stats graphics. Now we're looking at how to do that also in Excel. So we are going to use the tool regression or regression analysis in Microsoft Excel. So regression is actually a statistical tool that helps you to determine the relationship between a dependent variable and one or more independent variables. So for example, you would have microbial counts, you have pH values, you have color. The color, microbial counts, and pH values are all independent variables. And your dependent variables will be the time or duration to expose your product to. So trying to find the relationship between these, we can use regression to find a model that best describes the relationship between these or relationship amongst these independent variables and dependent variables. So we have one factor regression that is just one independent, one dependent, and we have multiple factors that is between multiple independent and one dependent variable, which is always a time that the a measurement of so many things against time. So your regression analysis is going to give you a coefficient, and that will tell you the strength and direction of the relationship between your response or the independent variable and then the time duration of the dependent variable. And they also give you the R squared value, which is very important in determining your shelf life model, the best model that fits it. And that is going to indicate how well your independent variables explain the variability of the dependent one, or how well they tell about the spread of the dependent one. So values that are very close to 100% or 1 indicates a better fit. So whenever you have a graph in Excel, normally in Excel it will be expressed as a decimal. So unlike other applications that are in percentages. So if it's close to 1, then you choose that best fits and you fit your values to suit that. Plot your graph, get the equation of your graph, and then you are good to go. And you also see your p-values in the regression table telling the statistical significance of each of your coefficients. So in my Excel, I have data sets of microbial load in cookies sample, pastry cookies, different varieties, and then the various microbial load over about 20 weeks period. And so the final data, one of them has been extracted here or put up here, and that is what I'm going to use for the shelf life estimation. So this is the average of the various weeks. So I just head on straight to select this data and go to the data and analysis. Mind you, if you are new here, probably you missed my first video on Excel data analysis. So you go to your file, click on more, click on options, and make sure you have activated this add-in. It will be in the inactive sessions if you've never used it before. So you select it and you hit the go button, select the analysis toolbar, and go to OK. Once that is done, you can do data analysis in Excel. So now I have selected my values. Now go to the data section and select data analysis. In my previous video, I have talked about how to do ANOVA and then descriptive. So now we are looking at how to do a regression analysis in Excel. This is asking for our Y values. The Y is the Y-axis on your graph. If you have to plot the graph, the Y-axis. So your Y-axis is going to be your response, and the X-axis is going to be the time. That's the dependent variable. And so let's see. Let me enlarge my data first so that my viewers can see it well. So data analysis, regression. Okay. So I'm selecting my y-axis, which is the response, and my x-axis, which is the number of weeks. And I'm taking the labels because I have a label on top of it. And the confidence level, it could be 95% or 99%, depending on what you want to choose as your confidence level. The percentage at which you are confident that your data is accurate. So based on this, your alpha will be 0.05. So p-value can be compared to 0.05. You want to output this in a new worksheet that we'll call regression. And in my plots, I want to plot a line fit plots and not the residuals. So I'll hit the OK. And this is the plots that we have. And this is also a linear model. But would the linear model be ideal for this kind of analysis that I've done? We can only tell by the R squared. So let's look at the R squared. The regression statistics is giving us the multiple R, then the R squared at 0.805. Regression, our F statistic. All these have been explained in the previous video, so you can check it out. And then we have our coefficients, T statistics, p-value 0.09, which is which is greater than 0.05. So it tells that there is not significant difference between the relationship between your time and then your response. So these are the observations and then the residual. So with this, in Excel will give you the actual plot and a predicted one. The predicted one is based on your R squared becoming exactly one. So if you use a predicted one where your R squared is 1, that can give you a very accurate data. Or you can also explore the other models that Excel can give you. So from this graph, we go to add chart elements, go to add trend line, more options, and I want the trend line on the predicted because the R squared for the my actual parameter is way less than 1. 0.8 is quite less. Normally you want an R squared beyond 0.9 in the 90s. So let's see. Yeah. Now I want the equation of the graph, so I'll select this and display the R squared value. Okay, that is it. 1, right? And I also want the equation of the graph. Sorry. adjacent. I want the equation. That's the equation of the graph. So now what this equation is telling us is that y, which is our response, or the log CFU, the counts, is equal to these constants times x. The x here is the time, which is in weeks. So if I have my limits given by any reference standard, for example, from an international body, if cookies should not have a microbial load beyond 4 log CFU, I'll put the 4 in this equation. And now I can find my x. And that will be the number of weeks by which my product will stay. So in that case, you can use your calculator or you can work around this equation, even in Excel. So this will move to the right side divided by this, giving us our x. So let's compute that. Given that the limit is 4, our y is going to be 4 plus 0.4108 divided by 0.1085. The slope. That gives us a value of 40.65. And so our predicted shelf life is going to be 40.65 weeks. That becomes the shelf life of our products. We can also decide to use the actual one, not the predicted one, but try and find other models of the regression that will give you an R squared value quite closer to 1, quite closer to 1. So I think we are not able to change the models here in Excel, unlike in Stat Graphics. So you can use the predicted value in Excel, or you can use Stat Graphics to try and find a good model for your regression. If you found value here, consider subscribing to this channel and hit the bell button so that you'll be notified of my subsequent videos on data analysis and on other issues. You can explore my playlist beyond tutorials. I have a mentorship playlist and I have other very good stuff on this channel. So see you in my next video.